Hey everyone, and welcome back to Prune Belly Insiders. I'm your host, Michael Adams, and today I got a 36-year-old Prune Belly from Ohio. Please welcome a friend of mine, Tony Mahan.
Hello,
Hey Tony, how you doing today?
I'm good.
So, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Well, as Mike said, I'm 36 years old. I live in Ohio. I was born in Washington, D.C. I was born in Army or Walter Reed Army Medical Center. I am a gamer. I am not really much else interesting about myself that I can tell right now.
All right, so what's interesting about this story is Tony here is a Prune Belly survivor, and that's part of the reason we have him here today to share his story. So, Tony, why don't we start by what's the earliest memory you have with Prune Belly?
Well, this is what my mom had told me. When I was born 12 pounds. I had 5 pounds of fluid in my stomach at one time. My urethra exploded, and they had to get all of the fluid out of my stomach, and it caused all of my insides to become nothing but mush. And doing that, they had to do 18 reconstructive surgeries in order to make me even be functional again. And in that time, my kidneys were not able to function correctly, so I had to have a kidney transplant at 3 years old.
All right, so I have a question about your reconstructive surgeries. They were abdominoplasties, correct?
Yes.
So, just out of curiosity, did you find that it weakened your back muscles at all by doing the abdominoplasty?
Um, yes, because my stomach causes my back to kind of push forward, so it kind of makes my back kind of go into a crooked like thing, and it hurts constantly, daily almost.
Yeah, I was asking because I actually had a couple reconstructive surgeries too, and the doctors that said that I had weakened my back muscles as well. So I was just seeing if it's a common thing.
Yeah, it probably is.
So you had your first kidney transplant at 3 years old,
Yes.
and did you have any trouble eating during this time at all?
I actually do not remember all that much during that time. I was very little. I didn't have much of a childhood. I know that much. Um, my earliest memory that I know after that is probably going to school for the first time and having a lot of special instructions when I did go to school for like the teachers and stuff like that.
All right.
Other than that, I don't really have any really early memories
Yeah.
of being sick. I just know I was sick a lot, and I was sick a lot around the holidays. I noticed.
Did you? You don't know if you catheterized yourself during that time, do you?
I had a catheter in for daily use, like a permanent catheter in for daily use, because my bladder wasn't working correctly or it
Okay.
wasn't draining all the way. So they had to put a catheter in for me to until my bladder started working correctly. I think.
Okay. Okay. And so why don't we continue the story a little bit? You said you had gone back. Your next earliest memory was your first day of school, right?
I wouldn't say my first day. I have very few memories of elementary school actually. Um, I remember having having a lot of trouble health wise when I was in elementary school. Because around 8 or 9 years old, I had to have knee surgery because as I was growing, my bone in my knee started growing crooked. So I had to have surgery for them to correct it. Well, around 10 and a half, 11 years old, I had to have another surgery because it overcorrected itself. So I had to go in and take all the needles, the screws, and whatever they put in out of my knee. And my knee hasn't been right since. Um, and my next big memory is doing dialysis when I was younger. I want to say about maybe 11 and a half. It was about 2 or 3 weeks before I did my second kidney transplant, which my mom donated, and that was about 12 when I was 12 years old.
All right. And during all this time, how was your social life? Like, did you have any friends, any bullies?
I didn't really have many of either. I had a couple kids that like I would hang around with, kind of outside of school, but they were mostly kids in my neighborhood.
Right.
Um, Other than kids outside of my neighborhood, no, I really didn't have a bunch of friends.
All
And
right.
bully wise, I had a few. It was somewhat the football team and shit used to bully me, but other than that, I really didn't get bullied because I had a lot of friends that would stick up for me and help me out if I needed it.
That's good.
And then on top of that, it got to the I did get bullied. I made comedy as my defense mechanism. So if they would bully me, I would start making fun of them, crack jokes for them, and stuff like that. And it would usually get my ass kicked worse, but at least I got a couple jabs in.
Yeah. So, why don't we continue the story a little bit?
I did. At 12 years old, I did my second kidney transplant. I went through middle school and high school and all that. Pretty normal. Um, I barely passed with like I want to say like a 1.5 GPA.
Uh,
I I barely passed. I think it was my medicines because as I got older, the medicine started messing with me more, and they were still trying to adjust my medicines, I say, for them to work the way they were supposed to work. And I'm sure you get this as well, and you get fog brain,
yeah,
and it makes you hard to remember what you need to remember when you need to remember it. So that way, I barely passed school because of all the meds that I was on and everything like that. Um, but I did graduate with a diploma. When I graduated, I moved in with my sister for for a few weeks and everything like that. But I this is the difficult part. When I lived with my sister, I had to have surgery to have my gums cut away, and they put me on antibiotics before, during, and after the surgery. But I stopped taking my medicine, and in turn that made all of that get infected. So I ended up in the hospital, become septic. Um, After that, I moved back in with my mom, and when I hit about 21 or 22, or when I hit about 20, I met my wife Linda. I moved up 2 hours away from my family to be with her. Lived up there for about 8 years. What in that time, my kidney transplant, my second transplant failed. I had to do dialysis. I did dialysis for 8 years, and in that time, the doctors literally told me that if I don't get a kidney transplant soon and I don't have any more spots to do dialysis, they will no longer be able to do dialysis and they'll have to stop it. And
Yeah.
luckily, my sister came through and was getting tested without me even knowing. At least she got tested. She came through and donated a kidney to me at the right time. I don't know how it was the right time, but it was the exact right time that it needed to happen. That was about 6 years ago, and I'm doing pretty good now. I take my medicine like I'm supposed to. I stay hydrated like I'm supposed to. So if there's any advice that I can give anybody, take your medicine and stay hydrated. Two most important things that you can do for your kidney.
Yeah. Everyone knows the medicine is very important when it comes to kidney problems. Now, I just want to back up for a second here because that's a lot of information. So you said you had met your wife. Was that your first girlfriend?
I've had other girlfriends, but they were long distance relationships. I've only had one, maybe two or three really deep girlfriends, and those were only like a year or two relationships. Um, and me being with my wife for about 16 years now, I really don't count those relationships anymore. So,
All right. And I'm aware
so in
you
other
said,
words, I really didn't date a lot in high school.
yeah, it's the same. I think, and I'm only 21 here, but I think I've only had two girlfriends I'd really consider serious when I was in the relationship.
Yeah.
So you said that your sister had given you your kidney, right?
Yep.
So my question is, how was your relationship with your sister growing up?
Growing up, I remember a story she used to tell me when we were little. She used to drag me by my PJs into her room to play Barbies with her, like all the time, because she wanted to play with her little brother. Um, as we grew up, it got a little, we fell apart a little bit throughout the years. She moved out when she was really young, so I was at home by myself with my mom a lot. Um, as we got older, we started to have a relationship, and then a lot of things happened, and we didn't have a relationship. But we still keep in contact with each other. We still ask each other how we're doing and everything like that. So we'll still keep an eye out on each other. And I
That's
keep
good.
in contact with my nieces and nephew. So I gotta do that.
That's good. And honestly, that's another reason I want to get siblings on this channel as well, because while yes, I want to get the Prune Belly story out there and I want to get the parent side out there, I think the siblings get missed altogether sometimes. And it's not even on purpose, it's totally accidental, but sometimes the siblings are kind of overlooked in the Prune Belly process.
Right.
So, what would you say was your hardest thing to deal with through through your 35, 36 years now?
Being different from everybody else.
Yeah.
Not having anybody to really talk to and confide in on what's going on and with your body. Because yeah, we go through the normal changes of puberty and everything like that, but we're as Prune Belly patients, we're also going through other changes that we have no clue what's going on. Growing up, making friends was difficult for me. It still is today. That's why I have. That's why I like my PlayStation. I make a lot of friends on PlayStation. You know, I don't have to worry about how they look at me. I don't have to worry about how I look at them. You know, it's just are you cool? Are you a good person? That's it. That's all I need to know. If you got a mic, I'll talk to you.
Yeah, that that's why I really think I know a lot of parents are against gaming, and I could get into a 10-hour video here, but just to say at least, I believe that gaming does provide an outlet to uh, a lot of people as well. Uh, just like you said, it may be hard for us to talk to people in person because of how they may perceive us, but behind the game, you don't know what the other person has wrong with them, and you really don't care. You just care, are they a good person?
Oh no.
So, what do you think was your most valuable lesson through Prune Belly? All right, so how is your relationship with your sister?
Um, you would think us being a year and 5 days apart, we would be close. We have had our moments where we were close. Well, we've also had a moments where we weren't too close as well. Um, all in all, I think it's a normal brother sister relationship. It just
Yeah,
got strained as we got older with everything that was going on in our lives.
yeah. So you wouldn't say you found any resentment, would you?
That I can't speak for her. I think there is, but I'm not going to say for sure if
Okay.
she feels resentment toward me for being sick all my life or not.
And even if it was resentment, I don't feel like it's necessarily towards the person. I think it's more towards the disease itself.
Probably.
Because this disease does strip even prune bellies of a lot of normal things. And I hate using that word, but I really don't know how else to describe it.
I mean, we are not normal. We are not normal. We can't have kids like normal people can. We can't play sports like normal people can. We can't do a lot of things that normal people can. But we want to.
You know, one thing we all got in common though that I've noticed,
What's that?
we're all fighters. We've all gotten this far by fighting to get where we are and haven't really backed down. There may have been times it was hard, may have been times where we felt like giving up, but I don't feel like we actually gave up.
Well, sometimes the only thing that you can be is strong.
Yep.
Can't do anything else really.
So, if you had to give another prune belly advice, what would it be if they felt
Like
alone?
I said earlier, take your medicine, drink a lot of water, um, keep all your relationships because you're going to need somebody there when you need them.
Yep.
Um, give thanks to the people later on in life because they will be doing a lot of things for you throughout your life that you won't notice until later on.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think, where'd we leave off with your story?
Oh, I'm done with my story. My story's over.
Oh, all right. How would you say you're doing
Until-
today?
To be continued. To be continued. Let's put it there.
All right. How would you say you're doing today?
I have a lot of medical issues that need to be getting dealt with. I have a lot of emotional issues that need to be dealt with, and I have a lot of mental issues that need to be dealt with. But I don't think I'm ready to deal with them yet.
Well, remember, if you ever just want to talk, I'm always here for you, Tony.
Thanks, sir.
So I do have a question for you. We're probably about to wrap this up, but
Okay.
would you be willing to come back on for another video if the subscribers and people viewing this had questions about your story?
Yeah.
All right, everyone, you heard Tony say it. He is willing to come back. If you have any questions about his story at all, please text me or comment them in the comment box below. Tony, do you have any last thoughts?
Nope. I think I got everything out that I needed to get out.
Thank you for coming on, Tony. I know how hard it is to share the story sometimes, but yours truly is a remarkable and amazing story that defied a lot of odds.
Thank you, sir.
All right, everyone, if you want to watch more videos like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.